Ho, Lament Configurinos. This is the Lament Configuration Horror Podcast. My name is Greg Knox, and as always, we are joined by Ria Fend.
Hi, Greg. Back again for another episode. We are absolutely flying through the episodes this year, and we are back and we are darker than the inside of Aunt Gladys's travel bag from Weapons. So for those of you that have seen that new release, if you know, you know.
Well, I haven't seen Weapons, so I'm going to have to remain in the dark on that one, but I will assume it's very dark and there's a good reason why it's dark.
Yeah, excellent movie, but we will get to that. I'll just give you a little trigger warning because, as always, we're uncensored, unrelenting, spoilerific, graphic, gory, and we cover adult topics. So, yeah, set your faces to stun, guys, because it's going to be a bumpy ride as per usual.
Oh, it's going to be a very bumpy ride talking about some of the films on the episode today. So, got quite a bumper-packed episode for you guys today. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show itself...
meat and bones, yeah.
Potatoes are more edible than bones, so I don't want to eat bones. It's not very nice. Before we get into that kind of stuff, there's a couple of just quick admin-y type things, very, very official for the podcast. Just to let you guys know, we are now on Amazon Music. So if you don't know, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, and we're on YouTube. So whichever one of those you're listening to us now, great. But just to let you know, we're on Amazon Music, so you can find us there as well. Very happy to do that. Obviously, the more places that you can find us, the better. And if you are listening to us right now, please, very kindly, I'm going to ask you guys to give us a like, share and a subscribe, because it helps the algorithm, it gets us out to more people, and it means that, you know, more people can listen to the show, and that's obviously what we want, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think if I could ask you guys as friends to hit us up on YouTube, because it seems to be going quite well on there. So one of our videos has taken off with 16,000 views, I believe.
Yes, so one of our videos from back in the day has 16,000 views, which is great, obviously. So yeah, more of that, please. Also, you may have seen, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, that we have started putting up polls on the YouTube channel. So it's just some fun stuff to interact with us. So the latest poll we put up was, what is your favourite Italian cannibal movie? And you'll never guess what won.
Oh, go on.
It's Cannibal Holocaust by quite a long way, which is fair. It is the best one by quite some distance. It's my favourite.
That is my favourite as well.
Yeah, so if you like stuff like that, keep an eye on the YouTube channel, because there will be more of that going forward. I have another idea for a poll, but I'm going to save it. You know, got to stretch these things out and everything. But yeah, just keep an eye out for that in the future. More polls, more random posts and stuff like that. Following on from that, you may have seen that we went to FrightFest, which we mentioned on the last show. FrightFest, for those of you who don't know, is a horror festival that's been running in the UK since the year 2000. Like busted. Oh, no, it's the year 3000, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's been running for over 25 years. It started off at the Prince Charles, and it's moved all over Leicester Square. It's proper, like, you know, been all around the houses pretty much, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it started off at the Prince Charles, went to the Odeon, then it went to the Empire, which is when I started going, which was my favourite time for going to FrightFest.
FrightFest nerd.
Yeah. So I've been going since 2009. That's where it was when I started. Then it moved to the View.
Yeah.
And then it went to Shepherd's Bush for a year, which was very random. And now it's at the Odeon again.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And Ria saw 3 films and I saw 2.
Yeah, we went yesterday, so we're recording this fresh off of FrightFest.
Cool. So what did you watch before me?
So I went to see Pig Hill in one of the Discovery screens in the Odeon Lux, so the luxury one, and that was directed by Kevin Lewis, who also directed Willy's Wonderland. So
a film I have not seen.
Willy's Wonderland's a lot of fun, so I highly recommend.
It's got Nicolas Cage in it. So.
Oh yeah, I mean it's great fun. Bit of Cage rage going on there.
I bet there is. Yeah,
but so I actually went to see his new movie, which was Pig Hill. Which was about mutant pig people bred in this part of America, sort of out in the sticks.
Right.
And it was pretty cool, actually. It's pretty dark.
Okay. So is it like The Hills Have Eyes, basically?
Yeah, a little bit like that. There's a few twists and turns in it, which I can't mention because it's not even out yet. So no spoilers on this one, although we do usually do spoilers on this show, but I will refrain.
Yeah. Okay, so that one you would recommend.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we both watched a film called Crushed, which is directed by Simon Rumley, of whom I have enjoyed some of his previous films.
Big fan of Rumley's work. It's also got Steve Oram as a lead actor in it, and I love Steve Oram's work as well.
Yeah, so what did you think of this film?
I mean, I think across the whole day, these are all like very independent sort of low budget movies. So in terms of that, they're quite like, you know, they're well done independent movies. But let's just say like they're not on the same level as like the wide release movies that you see. A lot of these are like kind of more homegrown movies. So I like them and they have their charms, but they're not like as polished as the stuff that you would see in the main cinema releases. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a bit of a slow burn. I like Steve Oram, as I said, and it was quite a difficult watch in places. But yeah, it was a little bit slow to get going, but the ending gives quite a good payoff. So quite like that movie.
Yeah, I was not a fan of it as such. I mean, in terms of Rumley, I love the way kind of his films are edited.
Yeah.
So he didn't always edit his films like this, but like if you remember Fashionista, which was also shown at FrightFest, it was in 2017, I believe.
Yeah.
He started editing his films kind of like Nick Rowe, so it's a bit more elliptical, where things will kind of cut at very random places. And yeah, I don't know, it just has a certain effect that works on me quite well. And you know, his films look nice, and Thailand is a very picturesque place.
Yeah, this whole thing was shot in Thailand, so it's quite different.
Yeah. All I will say is I was not really a fan of the writing of this film, particularly the dialogue.
Yeah.
I just wasn't a fan of that. Didn't really connect with the story, which, considering a lot of what on paper is quite difficult subject matter.
Yeah.
I had issues with it. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's more of a like child trafficking, but there's like an element of animal cruelty to this film without giving too much away.
Yeah, I mean, the film's called Crushed, so make of that what you will.
Yeah, so I quite liked the sort of the ending and the payoff, and like I say, I won't go too much into that because I'm not going to spoil it. Not my favourite of Rumley's films, because his other films I do think are like really cool. And like I said, this one I felt took a while to get going. It's also got a lot of themes of like religion in it, which it's pretty cool, but maybe a little bit, stilted sort of in the environment.
Yeah, we've established Ria's not a fan of religion on this show.
Making me sound bad, but what can I say? Hail Satan.
Yeah.
I was not raised religious, so you might guess
neither
that.
was I. I was baptized, but I've never been a serious churchgoer. Let's just say that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to each their own. There's no judgment for people who do follow religion. Just personally, not my background.
No. And then afterwards, we saw another film which is directed by Joe Begas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've seen most of Joe Begas's films. There was another film that was shown at FrightFest in 2019 called Bliss, which I really liked, which really worked on me because it has a lot of stuff in that film that is on my level. So he's very clearly very influenced by Gaspar Noé, especially visually.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kind of fluorescent neon lights in his films. Bliss is basically Driller Killer, but with a woman lead instead of a man lead is kind of the best way to describe it. And it's got vampires, so it's a little bit like The Addiction. His other films I'm not into as much. He's got a film called VFW, which is basically a poor man's assault on Precinct 13, which is, not a nice thing to say, but it is basically what it is. So this film, which is Jimmy and Stiggs, is brand new. It feels very kind of like low budget. It's very much him because he's obviously written it, he's directed it, and he stars in it. He's the main character.
Yeah, he produces it as well. So it's it's pretty much a one-man show, and he brings his mate into it. So
yeah, pretty much. There are only, I think, 3 characters in the film, and one of them isn't even on screen.
Yeah.
And it's this guy who drinks a lot, does a lot of drugs, swears a lot. That's another theme of Begus's movies, is his main characters will say fuck like every other word, pretty much.
They also smoke a lot of weed, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And listen to metal. That's another thing that I think is my frequency, is because a lot of his soundtrack choices are like really good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, some good needle drops. That's a term that's become very popular lately.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think for what this is, I was entertained. It's very balls to the wall.
Yeah.
It's very, and I mean this in a nice way, kind of, it's very ADHD filmmaking.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on that it doesn't even give you a moment to kind of get bored, whether it's characters shouting at each other or violence against these rubber aliens.
Yeah. Well, personally, I'm here for that. So I think he compared it to Uncut Gems, like energy. So
yeah, I get that.
For me, I call this like kinetic, like energy, or it is kind of relentless. So it's like a whole roller coaster ride in a film. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really creative. He shot the whole thing in his own apartment.
Yeah,
and
for years.
Yeah, without spoiling too much, because there's aliens in it, there's a lot of orange blood. So I feel like the obvious choice that he could have made was like the typical green neon blood, but he went with this neon orange, which actually looks pretty cool against like the dark apartment walls. And I mean, like for a low budget movie shot just like with one main character in his own apartment, it is pretty rad. And I like some of the effects. They did a lot with not a lot, basically.
Yeah,
so
very true.
That was my favourite pick of the day, actually. Jimmy and Sticks gets my vote. That was my favourite one.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I mean, basically, if you're a fan of like early Peter Jackson, particularly Bad Taste, I would say watch this film.
Yeah, alien invasion inside a man's apartment on a sort of booze and coke fueled evening. So there you go.
What more could you want?
Enjoyed that.
Cool. And yeah, like FrightFest isn't the only films that we've watched. We did, in fact, it's normally just Ria. I have actually watched some films in the last month as well. So Ria, what have you been watching?
So I have been watching new releases at the cinema. So I have watched The Home, which also screened at FrightFest. Marshmallow, which also screened at FrightFest.
Wow.
Nobody 2.
Definitely didn't screen at FrightFest.
Oh, it's just an awesome movie. Weapons and Together. So of those, like Weapons, Together, and Nobody 2 are like really freaking awesome, especially Weapons, directed by Zach Cregger, who did Barbarian previously, and I love both of his movies. So yeah, this is a new one for him, and definitely a win in the sort of horror world. And yeah, I mean, I mentioned it at the beginning with our opening. There's like an iconic character in it that people are going crazy for, so I'm here for that.
Yeah. I mean, I will get around to watching Weapons at some point, get around to watching Together at some point. Mm-hmm. What I'm doing, and look, this isn't really a spoiler, but at the end of the year, we're going to do like a shorter episode about kind of 2025 and kind of what were our favorite films of the year. We're going to talk about in more detail. So I'm basically kind of saving up a lot of the better, more well-known films for that.
Yeah.
But I have watched some of the films that Ria has already seen and talked about on the show. So I saw Heart Eyes. I did not like Heart Eyes. I thought it was a bit cringe.
It's a bit cliche and schlocky, but I think it's meant to be like that. I really like the director of that movie.
I didn't think the slasher and rom-com elements kind of fit together. And also there's a bit that I really didn't like that I have to call out. So the police in the film are called Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah. Now, in a better film, this would just be mentioned and the audience would be allowed to kind of get the joke for themselves, but they have to kind of, make it obvious, like really shudderingly unsubtle that, we're making a joke. This is a reference. So I hated that very much. I also saw Wolfman, which was written better, but was just kind of boring.
Yeah, it didn't quite have the sort of impact I hoped it would.
Yeah, I think Lee Whannell has an issue. And I mentioned this when we did our kind of first show back, that he's got a real problem where like he'll write these films with these allegories and he'll make them again so kind of fudgeringly obvious what his allegories are, that it's to the detriment of the stories that he's trying to tell.
Yeah.
So I didn't like The Invisible Man. A lot of people like The Invisible Man, but I didn't, because The Invisible Man is supposed to be about a man. He's supposed to be the main character, but that's not a popular opinion. But
I love The Invisible Man, but Wolfman, I think it lost its way a little bit anyway.
Yeah, a couple of films that I saw that I kind of enjoyed a bit more was a film called The Rule of Jenny Penn.
Oh, that's really cool. I love John Lithgow in that movie.
Yeah, and
So
Jeffrey
great.
Rush as well, a really good actor.
It's quite similar to The Home, actually, but I think of the two, I think I prefer Rule of Jenny Penn.
Yeah. So that, I believe, is an Australian film, if I'm not mistaken. And another Australian film is Dangerous Animals.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, which Jai Courtney is really good in Dangerous Animals. I enjoyed him very much in that. The only thing I would say is it did feel kind of similar to The Loved Ones, in the sense that you've got a character who's basically kidnapping someone and kind of torturing them. It's like, you've kind of done this, mate. You did this 15 years ago.
Oh, he's just doing it in like kind of the realm of
He's
Jaws.
doing it with sharks.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I thought it was wicked.
Yeah.
That guy is well scary, like the lead.
Yeah.
Villain.
Jai Courtney, I think, has found his niche as kind of a slightly crazy guy and not John McClane's son.
Yeah, it's pretty wild ride. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, that one. I really liked it. I mean, I like shark movies anyway.
Yeah, so I will watch movies. I will probably like some of them. I don't want you to think I'm some curmudgeon who doesn't like new films. As I said, look, what I'm trying to do is films like Weapons, films like 28 Years Later, I will get around to watch them, but maybe closer to the end of the year, so they're kind of a bit fresher in my mind when I'm talking about them, because they will come up in our end of year conversation. So yeah, look out for that.
Okay.
So that's what we've watched. Now, moving on to the show today. So what we're talking about is following on from our last episode where we covered 2 Italian zombie films that are Section 3 video nasties. We've got 2 more Italian zombie films that are not Section 3 video nasties.
Yeah, so refer you back to our previous episode, which gives you a little intro at the beginning about the brief history of zombie movies and how we got to review those ones last time. So if you want to hear that, have a listen to the last episode. But yeah, today we're linking this to the last episode with more Italian zombies.
Yes, and it's welcome back to Mr. Lucio Fulci, the godfather of gore himself, because we're going to talk about a film that we did not cover in great detail when we did our Lucio Fulci episode back in the day, which is episode 37 of the podcast. So he had 3 Section 2 video nasties, Zombie Flesh Eaters, The Beyond, and The House by the Cemetery. We reviewed those. That was a really fun show. That's one of my favourite shows that we did at the previous run. So please go back and listen to that because it's really good. From that, we then come to City of the Living Dead. So it's 1980.
Yeah.
Also known as The Gates of Hell, or the direct Italian translation, which is Terror in the City of the Living Dead. And Ria, why don't you tell us the synopsis of City of the Living Dead?
I shall. So, a reporter and a psychic race to close the gates of hell after the suicide of a clergyman caused them to open, allowing the dead to rise from their graves.
A clergyman, is that like a boogeyman?
As in a priest.
Yes.
Father Thomas.
Yeah, Father Thomas, who's another one of these zombies, although he's kind of tied to like Schweig from The Beyond and also Dr. Freudstein from House by the Cemetery, where there's one zombie who's like the big bad zombie.
Yeah.
And this film is interesting because...
Like the leader.
Yeah, he's like the zombie leader, exactly. And I misremembered this film because I assumed there are loads of zombies in this film, and it's not really the case.
So, not loads, but then at the end, there's suddenly randomly loads. So, I guess it's kind of the finale where you see like more, and you just assume there are lots at the end. But...
Which is very interesting because when we tie this into the other film we're going to talk about on the episode today, it kind of shows the value of restraint because, yes, there are zombies in this film. There's Father Thomas. He doesn't look like a zombie, but he's dead. I mean, he hangs himself right at the start of the film, so he's clearly dead.
Yeah.
But then you have other characters who are turned into zombies, as the film goes along. And then there is a story. There's a very crazy story in this film, which is kind of one of the reasons that I like it. But there are a lot of zombies who then appear in the last 5 minutes of the film, and that's it.
They sort of teleport around sometimes.
Yeah. So that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. So zombie flesh eaters, they're very traditional zombies. They're very Romero-esque zombies. So they're zombies where they're slow, they're shuffling, they bite people, and they turn into zombies. Doesn't work like that in this film.
They just sort of see the priest and they get like infected. Their mind becomes infected and suddenly they sort of become like, or they get touched by the priest and his maggoty hand.
There's not a lot of, there's no brain eating, and there's very, very minimal kind of gut munching that happens in this.
Well, there's a lot of like crushed skulls and brains, which is pretty damn cool to be honest. I quite like that effect.
So how people get turned into zombies is like the back of their head gets crushed and their brain is literally seeping out of their skull, which is pretty nifty.
But sometimes they just see the zombies and it's kind of enough to sort of infect them.
Yeah, which would make me kind of categorize this more as like a supernatural horror film rather than a zombie film.
Yeah, especially with this kind of like teleportation sort of appearing out of nowhere thing.
So what were your thoughts on the film overall then? Because I've been bigging this up to you for years, literally.
Yeah, I mean, it's really well made. So it's, you know, it's kind of it's a pleasure to watch. It's different. You know, it's kind of cheesy in places, probably because of that supernatural element. And it's well scored, and it's a fun watch. You know, it's the quality's there. Cinematically, it's nice. It's a nice watch. So.
Oh yeah. So what I like about this film is it's very atmospheric. And the atmosphere kind of starts from the very beginning of the film because it starts with that. Well, it starts in New York. Which of course it does.
It's a favourite.
Fulci loves New York so much. Yeah. More than like Umberto Lenzi somehow. No idea how. But it starts with a seance.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool actually. And they sort of have this medium there, this woman who's a medium. She's pretty like cool character in it as well.
And this film, like The Beyond and House by the Cemetery, stars Catriona MacColl. And I said, back when we did the Fulci show, I remember saying that I thought, this is her best performance. It's not in it. The performance in The Beyond, I think the character she plays in The Beyond is better than this. Really, after the first sort of 20 minutes, she's kind of there. I mean, it feels a bit, I don't know, it kind of feels a bit bad faith to kind of talk about characters in sort of horror films sort of like this, because they're not really there to kind of be developed and all that type of stuff. They're there to kind of move the plot along and stuff like that. So her character's not my favourite. Another actor who appears in this who I really like is Christopher George, but my favourite film of his is Pieces, which we have to talk about on this show because I love Pieces.
Yeah, no, I've watched that with you as well. And it's really awesome.
Him and his wife in that film, they're awesome.
So cool.
His character, again, doesn't really do a lot. You can tell he's kind of got something about him, but my favourite character though, not necessarily for his importance to the plot, although he is slightly important, is Giovanni Lombardo Radice. Right, welcome back to him, who plays Bob. Who's
such an awesome name.
Yeah, well, not the best name in the film, I would say. I'll tell you that in a minute. But yeah, his character, he's the punching bag. He's the Bruce Campbell of Italian exploitation cinema, I would say, because his character in this film is a proper punching bag, and they make out that he's like a massive creep. Even though none of the women in the film are like that bothered by him, they actually actively go out their way to kind of socialise with him, which I find hilarious.
Strange. I mean, on another note, I found a common theme in this for both movies that we're covering today, and it's pretty disturbing.
Okay. I think I know what you're going to say, but...
There's an incest theme in these movies, guys.
Right. I mean, incest is mentioned in the first film. It's only mentioned in passing.
But it's still weird.
It's still a bit weird, yes. It's kind of, I think what that is, again, because I've seen interviews with Fulci to try and kind of glean nuggets for you guys that are listening to the show. And he has a disdain for certain things. Mostly Dario Argento. He hates Dario Argento.
Aww.
I mean, Fulci's been dead for years, so it doesn't really matter now. But yeah, he slags off Dario Argento a lot. But he hates the church, like Ria.
Oh, guys, he's just joking.
No, Fulci particularly hates Catholicism specifically, which if you've seen some of his other films, that comes out in that. The fact that the head zombie in this film is a priest is also pretty telling. But he also doesn't have a lot of time for psychology. So obviously in House by the Cemetery, you've got, Dr. Freudstein, so that's Freud. The fact that a very major character in this is a psychiatrist, I think is quite interesting. And yes, he's having this conversation with his patient, who's played by Janet Agron.
Yeah.
Basically, and she's talking about how, all girls want to marry their fathers.
She says when she was 8 years old, she wanted to marry her father.
But he was an alcoholic, and then that ended pretty quickly. Which, yes, that's the sum total of it. But yes, that's where it comes from. So without meaning to spoil the review of the next film, it's not the same.
We'll get to that.
The same.
We'll get to that in the next one.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of atmosphere in this film, be it, the wind. And another thing that Fulci kind of brings up in some of his films, particularly in Don't Torture a Duckling, is kind of the small-mindedness of people in small towns like this.
Yeah.
So in Don't Torture a Duckling, these children die and the townspeople blame this woman who's played by Florinda Balkan, who they say, well, she's a witch and she's kidnapped these children and it's her fault. And spoiler for that film, but they kill her about 2/3 of the way into the film. And this film, in a similar way, has the townspeople basically blame, there's a character that goes missing and dies, who's Emily.
Yeah.
And they blame it on Bob. Poor Bob. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
But because he's a bit of a creepy guy, they just want to blame all these supernatural phenomena and people going missing on him.
Yeah.
As opposed to, it's this priest that's died and has opened up the gates of hell in 3 days and all that type of stuff.
It's quite funny how they sort of establish his character as like a creepy guy, because when he goes to Dunwich and he finds this like abandoned house and he goes in, there's like a blow-up doll.
Yes.
That he inflates.
Which is very random.
And it's like, this is kind of his pastime. He just goes off finding inflatable blow-up dolls, sex dolls.
Very strange. And also, like, where he lives, he's got pictures of like naked women up on the wall as well, which is a thing that you used to only find in like mechanics.
Yeah, page 3
garages.
Models. Yeah.
Or at least you get that in this country. I don't know about other countries.
Well, you get, he finds like a corpse on the floor. It's quite wormy. So they use quite a lot of real worms in this movie, which I thought was pretty cool. I liked it when they used to do practical effects like that.
Practical worms.
It's very Evil Dead sort of feeling.
Yeah. A lot of stuff in Fulci's film. And again, this ties into all of his films, really, well, at least around this period when he could afford decent effects. But the effects are very disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately. Yeah, we're talking about worms, or there's a scene later on that involves maggots.
Yeah.
Like millions of maggots, seemingly.
Oh, that bit was awesome. It's like a snowstorm of maggots.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like they get fired at all of the cast.
You wouldn't be able to do that now. I think Peter would get quite upset.
But yeah, there's this wild bit that sort of sets up part of the plot of like how we get inside information. Is that Mary, we think she's dead from the seance, and then she gets buried alive, which is pretty fucking wild, to be honest. It's quite a scary bit. I liked this.
Yeah, I've heard of this where people, quote unquote, die, but they're not actually dead, but they just wake up again.
Yeah. So she's banging on the lid of the casket, and luckily there's somebody there that hears her. Yeah,
which is one of the only bits of the film that I don't really like, because why is he hanging around a cemetery for ages?
It is. It's all a bit too convenient. It's a little bit like, I was rolling my eyes at that bit, but it's quite dramatic the way he sort of rips open the lid of the casket and she's screaming inside and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
aesthetically.
It's cool, obviously, when he's like got this pickaxe and he's, trying to get into this coffin, and the pickaxe is coming like literally inches away from her head, which must have been no fun to shoot. I'll just say that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is cool. But yeah, his character just being there for hours, just on the off chance, I've heard this woman, something has happened to her. And interesting side note, one of the grave diggers is played by Perry Perkinen from Cannibal Holocaust. It's the blonde guy with the moustache. So
awesome.
That's a random kind of cameo in there.
Yeah, so she gets dug up and then she's seen hell, so she can tell them like what it looks like and what she knows about it, and then they sort of trace it back to this priest eventually, because she sort of knows what's happened, because that's what happened during the seances. She discovered more about it.
Yeah, sure. Another thing that I just want to quickly mention is the makeup effects, because we're talking about 2 zombie films, and even though the effects, so the gore effects, were done by the same person in both these films, it's a man called Gino De Rossi, and the gore effects are awesome. The makeup effects for the zombies are much better in this film than the next film we're going to talk about. And they're really awesome. Like the character of Emily. After she dies and comes back to life, I think she looks awesome. Yeah,
her makeup is just so cool. It's so haunting. I really loved the parts where she had bleeding eyes. It was just so effective.
Yeah.
That was when she was like turning, when she saw the priest. And
yeah, so a few characters get bleeding eyes in this.
Some of them got like guts coming out of their mouth.
Yep.
There's also this like quite eerie sort of cat noise when the priest is about to come, which I thought was really effective. Yeah, that was like a cat screeching noise. And yeah, Emily would definitely took the prize with being like the most sort of haunting like makeup look.
Yeah, although I would say the makeup generally, like for the main zombies, like not the zombies at the end, because they were just, I don't know, because they were kind of in the distance, so they didn't look as good. But like Giancarlo Lombardo, so Bob, basically when he comes back, or the couple in the car when they kind of come back as zombies, they look pretty cool. And they can teleport, which I think is pretty gnarly.
That was awesome.
Cool. So you are the unalive scribe, as we've established, and we've kind of talked about a few of the deaths already, and there's some really awesome deaths, one of which you kind of mentioned in passing, very kind of underselling this death, by the way. But yeah, let us know how many deaths there were in this film.
Well, there's actually 40, so I might do a quick speed read of this through, because I do try to do that. It's a lot. Obviously, we've got the priest committed suicide.
Yep.
Mary dies and comes back. This is the thing with this list, you see, which took me a while to sort of compile, because some of them die and then they come back and then they sort of die again. So
yeah, I don't think you can count Mary, because she didn't die. She's come back to life technically.
Yeah, I can't. So cross that one out. That's not actually in the total of 40. So Mary dies, comes back. Emily dies because she sees the priest. She bleeds from her eyes. And then someone called Rosie, which is the couple in the car.
Yeah.
Tommy, he's the guy in the car, has got his skull crushed. Jane Holden, Mrs. Holden, died of old age / fear.
Yeah.
But then she sort of gets taken. There's a random thief that gets their hand bitten.
That's the Undertaker, which is hilarious.
Oh.
One of the things I like about Fulci's films is, or this one in particular, is they're these characters that are only in the film for maybe a couple of minutes, but they're not like random background characters. He at least does try and at least give them some kind of
they're doing
something about them. So you got the old guys at the bar, they're hilarious. And this Undertaker who's a thief, he steals like a necklace, I think is what he steals from Emily. It's like, honestly, it's
so he gets his comeuppance, he gets his hand
proper
bitten.
Does, yeah.
We assume he dies. Bob, I mean, this was my favourite death.
So good.
Bob's death. So Mr. Ross, who thinks he's a pervert.
I mean, he is really, if we're being honest. But yes, he's not the cause of like what's happened. He is actually innocent of that, as is in,
But he calls him a pervert or bastard or something. But Mr. Ross says, comments on what he thinks this Bob guy's done to his daughter or something like that. And so he wants to take vengeance for his daughter. And he gets like a electric table drill and drills into his head. So that was like the most dramatic death, I think, for me.
Which is a callback to the splinter in the eye from Zombie Flesh Eaters, because it's literally the same kind of, the way it's edited together, where it's like you see the drill, then you see Bob, and then you see the drill again, and then you see Bob, and then you see Mr. Ross.
Really
and
cool.
It's just, he's getting closer and closer. You know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you know exactly what's going to happen, but it's satisfying.
And because it's Fulci, he ain't cutting away. Like, you're going to see this drill go into his head.
Yeah. 8 and 9, Emily's parents. So Jack comes to tell them.
Well, and it's not Jack. That's the guy. That's the kid from The Incredibles.
Huh?
So his name's John.
Oh,
which is even funnier.
Okay,
I know.
John.
Of all the names, so like House by the Cemetery, there's a annoying kid in this film, and his name is John, and it's amazing. I love that that's his name. It just makes me laugh.
So good they named him twice.
Yeah. Now that scene,
it's just greedy to have two first names, really.
Yeah, I know. Like his parents, well, should we call him John? What about John?
Yeah, maybe they think it's cute because
John.
you repeat the name.
It's just honestly, what a name! What an incredible name!
So maybe it inspired Jack. Who knows?
Who knows? But what I thought about that death is very interesting is that it happens off screen.
Yes.
And the way that the characters talk about it makes it sound like the most horrible death in the film, even though we can't see it. We only see blood coming from the ceiling.
Oh, they say, it was truly butchered. They were really butchered, but you don't see any of it.
Now, realistically, that could have been because they just didn't have the money to film it, or they did film it and it looked bad, or maybe it was always meant to be off screen. I don't know. But weirdly, you think, we've seen a woman literally vomit up her own intestines.
Yeah. Is that the one you said I was underselling?
Yes, very much so. Yes.
I've become too used to this, haven't I?
A woman throws up her own guts, as you do. Yeah. But that scene, it's oh fuck, what has she done? This zombie Emily has killed her parents, and it's so brutal.
Other hints we have, because I've got written down here some little quotes. So apparently they were totally butchered, and then he also says they were literally ripped to shreds, and then John, not Jack, says he saw Emily eating mommy and daddy. So it's quite grim.
Pretty much.
So Sandra gets her skull crushed by Emily.
Yeah.
Another cool skull crush. Mr. Ross gets taken by zombies.
Yeah, by Bob. Gets his revenge on him from beyond the grave. Him
awesome.
And the guy behind the bar who, like I said, the small town kind of ignorance.
Yeah, Mike from the bar, and then the barman. So those three get gone. And Peter Bell gets his skull ripped open by zombie Sandra, who comes back as a zombie.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Because the scream, I don't know if that is him doing it on the Foley, but whoever they got to do the scream, it worked really well, I think.
Yeah, awesome. And then the zombie Sandra, Jerry gets her with a pitchfork. And then also, when we're coming up to the finales, there's quite a lot going on there, which was cool. The zombie priest, Father Thomas, Jerry uses a crucifix on him and sort of stabs him in the guts, which all splurges out. It's really awesome. And then he just sets on fire, which again, I think the effects were really cool. Yeah.
It seems to kill all the other zombies because he's the head zombie. So kind of like the head vampire. In theory, if you kill the head vampire, then all the people they've turned will then turn back.
Yeah. So there's so I tried to research it online because it's quite hard to count, but apparently there's around 23 of these zombies wandering around. They're all set on fire, which looks really cool. And then, And then zombie Emily sort of disintegrates as well. So They're all gone. So that makes our total of 40. There are a few not included in this. There are a few extra ones, like maybe a couple of extra ones that were like off-screen deaths that I mentioned, but I'm going to go with 40 as the total.
It's a lot of deaths, let's put it that way. Quite a few.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I would say that I do enjoy this film a lot. I don't quite enjoy it as much as The Beyond. The Beyond is my favourite of these Lucio Fulci zombie films.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's something about that which is even more bizarre, but it's not kind of too bizarre. Like, you don't have anything like the tarantulas appearing, killing a librarian like you did. Although, yeah, you do have some kind of surreal moments, like you have walls bleeding.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, really cool, just sort of adds to like the atmosphere of the film. It's not, it's not a big thing. It's not like that kills someone, but like the town is going for a lot.
Yeah. I got some really cool quotes from the very like quaint British dub version.
Okay.
One of my favourite ones is, "What the dickens is this?" That was like just brilliant. There's another one here, like, "I don't believe in the Twilight Zone, so I guess I'll just call the sheriff," which I thought was awesome. And another one later on, that's, "My God in heaven, the living dead." Oh, and that bit as well where he says, "Oh, I'll have to tell you the whole story," and they're going to the cemetery to sort of research the priest who committed suicide, and they don't actually show him telling the whole story. It just cuts to, and that's the whole story.
Yeah, and that would just be like really boring. And it's like, we've seen it. It's fine. Get the idea. Yeah,
it's a lot of exposition there. Anyway.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you the story. Okay, it's done now.
Yeah, they're not my favourite bits, but there are bits I do find funny. Like, not to take anything away from the film or anything, but one of my favourite parts is the psychiatrist. He's on the phone to Emily's parents, and obviously they don't know where she is because she's not come home. And she obviously told him, "Oh, I'm going to go and see Bob," for some reason. I don't know why, whatever.
What I noticed as well is she randomly walks into one of his sessions and interrupts.
Yeah, it's not very well explained, but I believe she is his girlfriend.
Ah.
And that would be why. Not very professional to interrupt one of his sessions still, even if you are his girlfriend, but still.
Highly confidential. She's talking about potential incest.
Yeah.
Her fantasies about marrying her dad, and like she just falls right in there.
Yeah. But like, they have this conversation on the phone. He puts the phone down and he remembers, and to tell the audience like what he's remembered, he just writes Bob in capital letters on his notepad, which is hilarious. It's so funny.
Oh, that's great. I like the bit as well because that's Jerry, the psychiatrist. I like the bit where they open the family tomb and they're sort of discovering all these crazy things and
giant rats.
Yeah, all he says is like, "I wish I had a cigar."
Well, I mean, one day you're kind of going about your day, and then a few days later, "Oh God, I've got to open up this guy's tomb, excavate his body, set it on fire, and all that kind of stuff."
I know, it's hard work. So, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool ending. It's quite like an open ending there.
Yeah, I don't like the ending to this film. I think the ending's a bit shit.
Well, it's like it's kind of alluding to the fact that
John
could be a zombie and have caught the zombie sort of thing at the end, but it's not. It just ends there, so you just leave it to your imagination.
Yeah, it's a very awkward ending because the way they're reacting to John is that, oh, he's a zombie, like he's been turned, but he doesn't look like he's been turned into a zombie. And the way that the scene's been kind of edited, they've done some kind of creative stuff where the screen sort of starts cracking or something. I don't know. That was the editor's idea. Fulci, in an interview that I saw, said, well, it was the editor's idea to do that.
Which has aged very badly.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just a bit rubbish. The ending of The Beyond is much better. Even the ending of House by the Cemetery is much better than that.
Yeah.
So that is a bit of a down note to kind of end the film on. But overall, like I said, look, I enjoy the film. It's a fun watch.
Yeah.
Great atmosphere, great kills.
Great close-ups of the priest eyes with like the grey makeup. It was making me laugh a little bit.
Yeah, that's Fulci loves eyes. So there are many close-ups of eyes. Well, there's one very literal close-up of Capture Animal McCall's eye at one point, but yes, there's close-ups of people's eyes, a lot of that going on. And yeah, like I said, look, an awesome score by Fabio Frizzi, one of my favourites of his.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's amazing. So yeah, so this one, as I said, look, it's not a video nasty at all. Should it have been a video nasty at all, in your opinion?
Well, not by standards of today, but the effects are quite gory, so maybe a little bit, maybe shocking enough to sort of be a Section 3 back then, but I don't think this is as brutal as you would think.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, sort of why his other 3 zombie films from this period are Section 2 video nasties, and this one isn't even on there at all. Bit bizarre.
I mean, by today's standards, you can tell the gore is fake, but back then it's showing quite a lot of like gore, like mushed up brains and guts. So
yeah,
probably should have been, but we will take it like a bit more lightly now.
Yeah, exactly. So it comes highly recommended from both myself and Ria. Now, if you want to watch this and you are on streaming, you can buy it, which doesn't mean a lot, because you can buy it and they can just take it away from you. It's not really yours. But anyway, that's another matter entirely. But anyway, if you're in the UK, you can do that on Amazon Video and Apple TV. If you're in North America, you can also buy it on Apple TV. In this country, if you want to stream it and you have a subscription to Arrow Player, you can do it on there. In America, if you have a subscription to IndieFlix, Crunchyroll, or Filio, again, it's on there, so you can watch it. So it's available in a few different places on streaming. Now, if you want to buy it and actually own it and touch it, like in your hands, there's a couple of places you can do that from. If you're in America, you can buy it from Cauldron, and it's available in Blu-ray and 4K. And if you're in the UK, you can buy it from Arrow, like I have done, as you can see.
Excellent.
So this is my copy. It's great. So, yeah. So if you want to own it, that's kind of how you would do that. But yeah, a very good start, I will say. It's probably the best zombie film that we've covered in the series.
Yeah, agreed.
Would you say?
Yeah, I think so.
Followed by a film that is not as good as City of the Living Dead, to put it mildly, which is a film called Burial Ground. Now, this is Burial Ground, also known as Nights of Terror, or indeed, in some places, it's called Burial Ground : Nights of Terror. It's also known as The Zombie Dead, and it's also known as Zombie Free, because what they try to do is, this is one of the several films that they try to market in places as a sequel to Zombie Flesh Eaters. And this is directed by Andrea Bianchi. His most famous film is either this or a giallo called Strip Nude for Your Killer, which does not feature incest, but still features some, let's just say, sleazy kind of outre elements that don't really appear in any other films. I'll just say that. And this came out the year after, so in 1981. And Ria, what is the synopsis of Burial Ground? Because there's not really a lot of plot in this film, I'll say that much.
Well, the synopsis, according to IMDb, is an archaeology professor discovers an ancient crypt containing living dead corpses. The zombies go on a rampage and attack a group of people whom the professor has invited to celebrate his discovery. I mean, but also this could just be 3 couples being saucy and being attacked by zombies, with an element of incest thrown in there.
Yeah.
Good measure.
Yeah. So before we continue, I've sold this to Ria for a while, as there's something about this film that I don't want to spoil to you, but yeah, it's pretty unique and wild, which, as we've already mentioned, is incest.
Oh my God. Well,
so, to give context, for those who have not seen this film, so there's 3 couples, one of them has a child, and I'll put child in inverted commas, because he is played by an actor called Pietro Barzacchini, who his English pseudonym is Peter Bark, who was 25 when they made this film. And he is, if you're still allowed to use this term, a little person. So he's not an actual child. And I believe the reason that they've done that is because there is a lot of very creepy incest-related stuff in this film that you would not be able to get away with an actual child.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so I wrote down here before I looked up his actual age, adult in child's body? Question mark. But yeah, it's like there's this noise when he has a shocked face, and he sort of I don't know, gets curious about his mother. He keeps calling her Mama, and he basically wants his mum, and he tries to walk in on them doing the deed with his dad.
Yeah.
But, it's weird.
There's
anyway.
a hilarious zoom on his face. Like, he's in bed and he's very creepy looking. I don't mean that in a horrible way. It's just just because of what happens in the film. It's just, very kind of ominous. And yes, he tries to walk in on it's his mum, definitely.
Yeah.
And probably his dad. I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
The film doesn't make any attempt to kind of explain if that's his dad, if it's just who his mum is with, because it could be that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Film doesn't care, so why should I?
Yeah. It's not explained, basically.
Yeah, which is a bit creepy. And then a bit later on, about halfway into the film, there's actual kind of groping.
Yeah. That's well, I mean, this sound effect, so the sound effects are like quite weird. It's like
love sound effects,
like electronic spaceship sort of sound effects, like a theremin. You know, like what a theremin sounds like.
Yeah.
Like wee 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 wee.
That's what it sounds like, does it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Right.
So I mean, it's sort of giving like electronic sort of spaceship kind of vibes, but that's what they use throughout this movie, especially for his shock moments.
Yeah.
But anything dark that's happening, basically.
And all this, like, we are spoiling the film anyway, but to jump ahead to near the end of the film, this obviously ties into how his mum dies, because Michael, who is this character, gets turned into a zombie. Absolutely hilarious scene, which we'll come to in a sec where that happens. But yeah, he then comes back as a zombie right near the end of the film, and he bites his mum on the tits.
Yeah, which has been kind of built up to before, because he said that he wants to
suck from your breast.
Yeah, it's rather gross. He wants to do that like when he was little and to feel close to her, but it's all very sexualized and it's all very gross. She's called Evelyn, his mum, and he's got this really bad bowl haircut.
Oh,
yes. Cannot take seriously, but yeah, he does. He's got the face of an adult.
Yeah, he's an adult. That'd be why.
Yeah, it's quite creepy. So
yeah. What did you think? Because I say you would have had no idea that this is a thing.
So I actually, when I watched it, I realised I have watched this before. Right. I remembered, but it's been a long time. So
left that little impression on you.
Yeah, when it got to that part, I was like, oh. I mean, I read somewhere that this director has done something else similar in one of his other movies, but I can't say that I've seen his other movies, so I don't know. But I mean, I thought that the zombie faces, the skulls, it's possible that they either cast it from real skulls or that they've used elements of real skulls and teeth in there, because it does look very realistic and quite scary. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then there's like, at any one point, there's probably like maximum on screen, like 13 zombies. They're like slow shuffling zombies in like robes made of sack. And you can picture it. And just one random zombie just doesn't really have the same mask that they have, which looks like a real skull that's like deteriorating. He's just got paint on his face, which was really random.
Yeah.
But on the whole, the makeup effects are not like, they're quite endearing in a way. They're quite like, they've got like a lot of maggots, which are quite effective that they use on the face. And I quite liked that sort of DIY sort of like effect. I thought it was pretty cool.
Some of them look okay. I got to be honest, in hindsight, I'm kind of more reminded of Troll 2, just because of the sacks, really, more than anything else. They just look like they're just wearing sack costumes. And unlike kind of other zombie films, the one we just talked about, for example, you can tell they're wearing masks because their mouths don't move.
Yeah.
So literally, it's just a bunch of people, probably extras, wearing these sackcloths, wearing these, masks that have got makeup on them, probably so that they don't have to keep putting makeup on the different actors' faces all the time, so they can just put this mask on and that's it. They're ready to shoot.
Yeah.
And that is okay, but yeah, some of them look better than others. Also, and this is just a me thing, I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit harsh about this, but in other films, like the one we just talked about, we don't see the actual zombies until halfway into the film. And when you do see the zombies, it's dark.
Yeah.
Whereas with these zombies, you see them literally 5 minutes into the film and it's bright outside.
Yes.
And they just throughout the film are these zombies. So after a while, you're just kind of like, okay, it's more zombies.
Yeah, you just sort of get used to it. It's like 3 hours. Some quite effective like growling noises. There's some worms.
Yeah, there's maggots and worms. Yeah.
There's a few cool stunts. There's like more fire. And she throws that green paint to set some of them on fire.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to be like fuel or, something to set them alight, but it just looks like green paint. There's a really cool bit where they sort of climb the building because you don't really expect that. And they sort of climb up and they get in. And one of them also has a scythe, which I thought was pretty cool. Pretty cool. And they also just use other weapons as well.
Yeah, so that was one of the things I wanted to talk about with this film. So you get zombie films that are pretty straight. So Zombie Flesh Eaters, as I mentioned, it's a pretty straight zombie film. They're just undead people. They bite you, and that's it. They don't seem to do anything weird. Nightmare City, they're not really zombies. They're infected people, and they can fire machine guns, and they can run, and they can do all kinds of stuff. City of the Living Dead, the zombies can teleport.
Yeah.
These zombies, they're Etruscan zombies. So it's mentioned somewhere 15 minutes into the film that this is some Etruscan villa, and they've excavated there. So, like Marks and Spencer's. These aren't just any zombies, these are Etruscan zombies.
I didn't know where you were going with that then. That's funny. Okay.
Wow. So, unlike normal zombies, like an Etruscan zombie can climb things. An Etruscan zombie can use a battering ram.
Wow. I mean, yeah, that was pretty impressive, but I've actually got written as my letterbox review here. This is the first time I've seen zombies use a table saw.
Yes, they can use a table saw. They can throw a knife from several meters away and hit someone on the hand.
Yeah.
They can decapitate someone with a scythe.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
The floor below.
There was also like a really cool camera shot where the maid gets decapitated and the zombies are eating her head down below it, but you can't tell from behind. I think it's James comes up and he finds the maid, which is called Catherine. And he finds her by the window. She's leaning over, but you can't tell that her head's not there. And it's sort of like the camera angle is like coming up from the wound of the neck to him, like in shock of what he sees. And I thought that was really awesome. And he throws the rest of her over the balcony so they can just eat her to like get rid of the zombies to stop them from climbing up. And they've got this they squirt this brown blood, I think. It's weird.
The makeup, well, not the makeup effects, but like the gore effects are, once again, they're done by Gino De Rossi. So there's a lot of people who get killed by basically just having their guts ripped open and eaten and stuff, like Day of the Dead, for example. Yeah. So there's a lot of that, and that looks pretty good. I wasn't a fan of like people getting shot in the head, because those effects, what they've done is they've inserted them in, but normally it's a quick cut, so you can't really see that it's an effect, but you can clearly see this is like an effect, and they've just crowbarred it in, spliced it in. Yeah. So it just looked a bit naff to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've got here that the head explosions are like pretty cool, but yeah, it's a little bit of a cop out, isn't it? It's just like shooting them all. It's the same thing again and again, more head explosions.
Yeah. So I saw in your letterbox that you gave this 2 out of 5. So I take it you didn't really like this film very much.
I mean, it's okay in terms of watching it to sort of watch a good spread of these type of movies. Quite enjoy, sort of seeing different ones. I think the character of Janet was irritating as hell.
She's the blonde lady.
Oh, yeah. She's just like a whiny little bitch. So melodramatic. She sounded like all the way through, like when she got her foot trapped in a bear
It's
trap.
a bear trap, yeah.
But then the actual special effects makeup, the practical effects on the leg were not good because it just looks like a red bruise.
Yeah.
And that would have been like her ankle would have been just like hacked up. So then she's like, obviously acting like she's the worst one off. But I'm pretty sure that Evelyn had been like shot or something had happened to her that was like kind of worse. Like she'd also lost her son, Michael, that she was devastated, and she'd also lost her husband.
Which she wasn't that fussed about, in fairness, compared to Michael.
Yeah, she was devastated over Michael.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Janet just sounds constantly like she's making like orgasm noises.
Yeah.
She's just like so devastated about the ankle, but there's like definitely more serious things going on. She can't really like be the center of attention.
Yeah, this is one of these films, unfortunately, where you'll have characters where they're being chased by a zombie, but they're dead and they're slow. Yeah. So they have to find reasons for them not to just walk away briskly and just get away. Yeah. So I think that's why the bear trap is just randomly there for no reason.
For sure.
And then it's like, oh no, I am hurt myself. I am trapped. Just like you said, just screaming for minutes at a time while these zombies very slowly walk towards her. And I'm like, oh my God. It's meant to be like tense, but it's just a bit tedious.
Yeah. I mean, I found it, amusing more than like taking it seriously, especially because of like the zombies using table saw and different weapons. And it was kind of made me laugh. There was a typo right at the end as well.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, we'll get onto that in a second. So, yeah, I have mixed feelings about this film. So, the characters are given no characteristics whatsoever. Literally, you've got a professor with his big beard.
Yeah, very impressive beard.
He dies in the first 5 minutes, and then he comes back later as a zombie.
Yeah.
And then you've got these three couples who really are not given any character whatsoever. They're randy.
Didn't you like my little show?
You look just like a little whore, but I like that look on you.
They're just there to be randy and just show some flesh, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've got the couple with Michael, and then you've got the two characters who end up living to the end of the film. Like you've got the blonde woman who's like, I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
Which is a bit annoying. And you've got the other couple who literally are just randy and that's it. And then the woman dies and then her husband just shoots zombies in the head and they run out of bullets. And I was like, oh, well, I guess that's it then. And then they just swiftly move on. Yeah, I was just mostly bored for the first hour of this film just because it's not very well made.
Yeah.
Like it's not shot very well. It's badly edited. The score is atrociously bad in this film.
Yeah. There's some quite funky jazz at the beginning which made me laugh.
There really is. It sounds 60s.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this doing in a film in like 1981? This score that should have appeared in like a Mario Bava like Giallo from like the 60s. Like, it's just bizarre. And like when it's tense, it's da 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 da. Just that for minutes at a time just got very annoying.
Yeah, I couldn't really take it seriously, and I think the thing with Michael and his mum, it just really grossed me out, not in a good way. Like I just felt like it was distasteful.
Very distasteful. Yeah.
Not needed, and there's not a lot of plot there, so it does get quite boring. But I mean, I found it amusing. Like you can't take it seriously, but it is a laugh in places.
Yeah, like what I will say, weirdly, after Michael dies, the film actually does kind of pick up. So his mum, Evelyn, like you said, she goes absolutely mental.
Yeah.
She has a proper nervous breakdown, which
Yeah.
is hilarious.
Yeah.
And one of the other women who's turned into a zombie who's now killed Michael and cut his leg off somehow. Or was it his arm? Because he was walking fine later on.
I
so
think
must have
it
been
was his arm, actually.
That
Yeah.
would make more sense. And like she's just munching away on this arm, and then Evelyn bashes this woman zombie's head against the bath, which is hilarious because she's just proper manic while she's doing it.
I quite like that bit.
That bit is
funny.
fine. And then, our man Dean Miller from Nightmare City, he's the only guy who has the right idea with these zombie outbreaks.
Yeah.
Because you just want to keep on the move.
Yeah.
Everyone else in zombie films, what they'll do is they'll go, just hole up here.
And wait.
Not thinking like, what happens when the zombies come in?
Yeah, because they're slow as shit, but they're coming for you, you know.
Yeah. So eventually they like get out. And this is when I think the film got better.
Yeah.
Like it's not amazing, but it was a dramatic improvement from this point because they then go to the monastery and you've got the monks who are now zombies as well.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's now, this is not going to end well. You can tell it's very downbeat and mean-spirited. Yeah,
they're in a quote-unquote model factory at the end, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Like, who has one of those? I mean, it's got these quite quirky locations in it that have obviously just been put in there because it's a cool place to
they were
shoot.
just there. I don't think they were chosen specifically for any reason other than like, there's this, I don't know if it's an artist studio.
Yeah.
It could be that, or like some carpentry studio because they've got the bandsaw and all this type of stuff. Now, those locations actually I thought worked quite well. That's one of the things I will say in positive is that, you got the villa. That looks quite nice. The location looked nice. The monastery looked, like the kind of place that would have zombies.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that they had all those zombie monks where you couldn't see it first and then they lift up their heads so you can see under their hoods a bit more and like obviously you're just expecting it to be all zombies and that was pretty cool sort of like image of like having these zombie monks peering out from under their brown hoods.
Yeah, and then you do get the scene at the end, which is where the film ends, and I did a thing that I don't normally do where I was actually shouting at the screen. It's like, because they hold themselves up and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're basically asking for trouble at this point.
Yeah.
Because they block the door. I'm like, no, the zombies are just going to get in.
Yeah. Oh, it's grim. I mean, I've got note down here that everybody dies. Like, nobody survives.
Yeah.
So quite a mean-spirited ending.
Yeah, and then like Evelyn gets bitten and like, they don't literally die, but it kind of, the film ends just as they're about to die, basically.
Yeah, that they're going to die.
Yeah, so it's a grim ending and I think that kind of works quite well, I think, considering, I said, like the last 20 minutes, I think on the whole kind of saved the film because I was not having a good time with this.
Aside from the part where Michael bites his mum's boob. Just gross. Not needed.
Yeah, which another breast eating. So we've been talking about zombies, biting women on the breasts or ripping the breasts off with their hands and stuff. It's the most extreme example of that.
Yeah, we've had it a lot in the last few films. I also think there was J&B in this.
Yes, there was. In the first 15 minutes, there's some J&B. I did make a note of that.
Tick that one off the list.
Yeah. Evelyn getting killed is her own fault, basically. She just lost her mind, basically.
I think that was the best part of the movie, actually. Quite like that.
With the J&B.
No, the female rage.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, that was the best part by far. Yeah,
because she had a motivation for it. Is why I liked it.
Yeah. Other than the part that Ria has already mentioned, which is right at the end, I think similar to the Beyond. I think what they've tried to do, or Bianchi anyway, has tried to basically give this some kind of like gravitas, which is hilarious. I'll read what it says. So it says, the earth shall tremble, graves shall open, they shall come among the living as messengers of death, and there shall be the nigs of terror, because they spelled nights wrong. So it's nigs of terror, prophecy, which they've also spelt wrong.
Yeah, two typos.
Of the black spider. Now, the prophecy of the black spider is not a real thing.
Yeah.
So
I noticed
fuck
there were 2
knows what this
typos.
is.
I was like, oh my God.
So bad. Like, not one typo is bad enough, but 2 typos.
Yeah.
in
Prophecy
the-
spelled with an F, in
It's
case
so
you were wondering.
stupid.
So once again, like, we've watched this, so you guys don't have to. If you
You
only
really
want to
don't
listen,
need to watch this.
I mean, you could just listen to this summary and that's it. But if you want to watch it, it's quite a good laugh in places.
Yeah, and look, the only reason people talk about this is Peter Bark, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really known for any other reason. So it makes me think that Andrew Bianchi is a very twisted man.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, look, Strict Nude for Your Killer, it's not got incest in it, but it does have, like, some, let's just say, questionable content.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's kind of like a bit of a poor man's Joe D'Amato, I think, or even a poor man's Lucio Fulci, because there's 2 bits in this film that are clearly ripped off straight from Zombie Flesh Eaters. Because you've got a zombie coming out of the ground, except the zombie looks shit. So it doesn't have the same impact. And yeah, one of the woman who ended up killing Michael, I think it's meant to be kind of similar to the Splinter death from Zombie Flesh Eaters, but it's done way for a window, and it's just a bit shit. But yeah, so it's just, I don't know, there's gore in it, and the gore is okay, it's pretty good. If if you like films with weird content, fucked up content, and gore, no plot whatsoever. If you do not care about characters, other than a couple of women get naked at one point at the start of the film, yeah, by all means watch this. But yeah, it's wasn't my favourite. I will just say that much, to be charitable.
Same.
But if you do want to watch it. That being said, so this one, not available on streaming in the UK. If you want to watch it in America on streaming, you have a plethora of choices, including Tubi, my favourite, Plex, Foursome and Hoopla, where you can watch them for free, probably got ads in them. If you want to watch it on subscription, you've got Screenbox, Arrow, Crunchyroll, Eternal Family, whatever that is, and Ria's favourite, Troma Now. So the Troma streaming service, so apparently it's on there. If you want to own it on physical media, I don't have this one, but anyway, if you do, you can buy it in this country from 88 Films.
Yep.
And you can buy it in America from Severin, but they're both region free. So really, anywhere you are in the world, you want to own it, that's what you would do. Just buy it from there.
And FYI, I counted the bodies and it was just 24, so not quite as many as City of the Living Dead.
And this probably would have been a video nasty. Don't know why it wasn't a video nasty, in fairness, just for the incest content.
I would have said it should have been a section 2.
So yeah, I don't know why it wasn't, in fairness. Maybe it missed the whole furore of the video nasties. Maybe the BBFC never saw it. Maybe they weren't paying attention. Or I don't know, they got bored, so they just stopped taking notes. I don't know. It's just a bit of a weird one.
Slip through the net, that one.
Yeah. But yeah,
Quite
anyway,
awkward.
it doesn't matter because you can just buy it and it's all uncut and everything. So yeah. So we've come to the end of the show. As always, I want to thank Ria.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you guys very much for listening. As we said at the start of the show, we really, really would appreciate it if you enjoyed this to like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, people who would be interested in hearing about Burial Ground and Zombie Holocaust and all these other
Some lesser known
amazing
horror
films.
titles. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell your grandma. She may know, hey, she might love this, who knows. But yeah, honestly, please do, because it helps us out a lot. We want to get the word out there. And yeah, as I said, look, we are available on Spotify, on Apple, on Amazon and on YouTube. And yeah, if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Instagram and we are on Twitter X
X
as
yes.
Lament Horror.
Yeah, and I have been Ria Fend, your unalive scribe, as per usual, co-host with Greg. And I have Instagram, Twitter X, Threads, and Facebook as Ria_Fend. So you can find me on all of those. And if you'd like to look back at our other episodes, we covered the 72 Section 2 BBFC band titles from the 80s, the original Video Nasties. And we're now working our way through Section 3 with some other special episodes in place in between. Which you've probably seen, some nice franchises.
Yeah, so we got some more sort of Section 3 video nasties in the pipeline for you. Some really good films, some lesser known films that we're hoping to kind of spread the word about. So yeah, obviously please subscribe and look out for those coming up. My name is Greg Knox. You can find me on social media, on Instagram as RevXBM. I'm on Letterboxd as Worst State Movies. I'm on Twitter X as Worst State Movies as well. I don't post very much, but yeah, if you want to follow me, I'm the one in charge of the YouTube page. So if you want to look out for polls and random stuff on there, then yeah, that's the best place to do that. And yeah, we're coming up to the end of the show, aren't we? So what are we going to listen to as we go out?
Well, I'll also say that we both love Letterboxd. So if you'd like to follow us on there and see what we've been watching, that'd be really cool. Because yeah, it's a really nice community on Letterboxd. Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, we will bid you adieu and see you out with some music from one of our Italian zombie films that we mentioned in this episode.